Welcome to the Weekly Pistol Podcast. At the end of this hour, we want you better than when we started.
All right, what's good? What's good? Veronica,
Hey, what's up?
you are on the hot seat.
Oh, yeah.
Sitting in the corner like a bad girl.
She's on
So
time
naughty.
out. She's on time out.
It's all about Veronica today. All about Veronica. All right, so before we get started, because we got to jump into this because I've waited for this call, and I'm excited about it.
Okay.
Not in a morbid kind of way, you know. But it's been a rough couple of months. Let's say we lost a couple officers, suicide. I try not to get too emotional. One of the officers, everyone in this room knew. Some worked with him, some worked behind him, around him, and all around great dude. I spoke to his spouse a couple times. We have permission to say his name, and he was on our Instagram page, and that was Ben Pitts. So we, if you need help, reach out. We've always said that, and everybody in here nods.
And
Pick up the phone.
Veronica's about to say that a lot.
Yeah,
If you need help,
pick
reach
up the
out.
phone.
Yeah.
There's you don't have to use us, but we do have a lot of network connections, and there's 4 of us in the room, and I'm pretty sure that 4 of us individually could find 4 different help for you. So make sure you reach out. We did lose another officer, but I have not spoken to his family, so I'm not going to say his name, but I knew him. I believe Tanya knew him. Good dude, real good dude. So anyways, it's dedicated to Ben today. Let's get started. Veronica?
Yes.
So I need you to raise your right hand.
Uh-oh.
Repeat after me.
Uh-oh.
You swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help you God?
Yes.
Let's get ready to roll.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Game on.
Actually, I don't know what's been going on, so I'm so excited to hear
Yeah.
about it.
And I'm not, look, before I get the text messages, I'm not dodging the video. There's a lot of shit going on, and I forgot one stand. And there is someone new on the seat today. Do you just want to use your ID number?
Nah, we're good.
We'll call you Rob.
That works.
Is that good, Rob?
That
Let's call you
works.
Rob. Or Tanya's twin, because you guys have the same haircut.
We're making it hot.
It's like an episode of Step Brothers.
Did we just become best friends?
Yes. You're bringing sexy back. Okay, so
She's always had it.
that she did. So let me take you guys back about 2 weeks, right? Roughly 2 weeks. And Veronica will reach out every now and again, and she's like, when are we doing a podcast? When are we doing a podcast? When are we doing a podcast? And then I tell her it's time for a podcast. She's like, oh, I can't do this Sunday at all. Okay, next Sunday. I can't. That's bad Sunday too. So I get a call from her early in the morning, not too early. And she's like, we doing a podcast? And I said, matter of fact, we can do one in 2 Sundays. What's up? And she's like, yeah, I need it. And I was like, what? Hold the phone. So we have given Veronica a lot of shit for years. I've known
Yes, we
Veronica
have.
now for about 4 or
Yes,
5
we
years.
have.
And she absolutely loves to blame everyone else. It's never Veronica's fault. It's everyone else's fault. And we told her to stop running, and it was excuse after excuse after excuse. And then you ran out of excuses.
I guess so.
And so what did you do? You reached out.
Yeah.
So give us real quick, just give us what made you reach out?
Oh, because it wouldn't go away. So I have there are little things that happen to me before I'm gonna have I don't know, a bad headache or just not have a good day or something. So typically some of the signs are I get the blood vessels in my eye start to burst just in my left eye, do little stupid things. Anyways, they are a warning sign to me to slow down or take a break or do something. I typically ignore them and go, I'm good, and then go about my day and hope everything goes well. So Saturday I had a day with my girlfriends. It was a great day. No issues, nothing. But I did wake up with the red thing in my eye. And looking back in the days before, I noticed some other little things. But I didn't pay attention.
Well, can you tell us what those little things are?
Okay, so
Yeah.
this is going to be gross,
sorry.
kind of gross. But
Okay.
when in the middle of when all this first happened, and I'm very fidgety when I'm not okay, right? Like I usually play with my necklace, my nails, I do something, but in the very beginning, I had this horrible habit of doing this, but it would peel my skin. So my thumbs would be like raw, just totally raw. And I noticed I had done that to one of my fingers. I started to, and then I realized, like, why are you doing this? What's going on? And then I was like, oh, nothing, that's nothing. I, didn't even relate it to anything.
So it's things that other people would notice if they should be paying attention.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
And so, and I know that they're there, but I just kind of ignore them, right? So those kind of things happened. And then Saturday I went out with my girlfriends, had a great day, had to take my son to a basketball game that night, and picked up my kid. And I don't know what he said to me, but it was whatever it needed to be to put me over the edge. And I just was like, I was furious with him for no reason. I'm pretty sure he did nothing wrong. I was just already so into it without even realizing that I was there. We went to his game, and I'm pretty sure all the sounds, it's indoor basketball game, like all of that contributed. I was texting my boyfriend, and he said the wrong thing, and it said,
Can I just say something real quick?
Yes, please.
Do you hear what she's saying?
It's everyone's fault but
They
hers.
said the wrong thing. Okay.
he totally did, though.
Let's start with the first problem. All right, acknowledgement.
Yeah, and so I clearly still at that point had no idea I was in the middle of a fucking storm. No clue. I just was like, I'm done with everybody. Fuck them all. Like, I'm done. Like, that was kind of my attitude. My son wanted to go to my mom's after anyway. He'd been staying there to play with the cousins, so I was like, taking you. Took him. And then I was like, fuck it, I'm done. Like, I'm fucking leaving. I'm not coming back. And I headed, I dropped my son off in Casa Grande, headed up the 10, up the 17, halfway to Flagstaff. It was 9:30, 10 at night at this point.
Oh, hey, where were we going? Where are you going?
No, I had no destination. I just wasn't fucking going home. I wasn't going to do anything with anybody. Like, I was checked out.
Isn't that how we got a guy that went to, was it Maine for lobster? Is
Yeah,
that what happened with him? He just was like,
he
damn.
he came to group, and then 2 days later, he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go get lobster," and then we didn't see him for like 28 days. And he went to Maine.
Yeah, that's where Veronica was going.
But let's go back
Yeah.
just a little bit, and let's start from your son. What did he tell you?
So, to be honest, my son, so I have a lot of guilt for, he has his own anxiety issues. He's super shy. All of that kind of happened while I was sick. And he even says, when I was like 7 through 9, like, I don't know, that's when I changed, right? He changed. So he doesn't really remember that I changed, because who I am now is pretty much who he remembers me always being now. And so I was really just non-existent. I don't even remember 2000, end of 15 through like 17. I have very little memory. I was just trying to stay alive. And so I have a whole lot of guilt for not being there to take care of my kids. And I really, thank God I had older teenage daughters that kind of took care of things, I assume. But I know during that time, I know now that his dad was not really good to him. And I learned this just after my divorce and stuff. So anyways, so he has a lot of like awkward behaviors because he's super shy now and worries about everything. And then he's got some of his father's traits that really just drive me crazy, because I think his dad's a piece of shit. So he does.
Let's talk the truth.
Yeah.
Let's
And
keep
you
it
wanted
real.
the-
Hey, you wanted the truth, the whole truth, bro.
Jesus.
So he
Somebody's angry.
so it was just his, like, his dad is one of those that like doesn't have to listen to authority, always in trouble, because it's what he wants when he wants. And so my son kind of has that in him a little bit. He's just about to turn 14, and it fucking drives me crazy when he's like, huh, what? Just, so it was
That's
just.
not his dad, Veronica. That's a boy. That's a guy.
But
His
it's
nuts are
just,
dropping.
ugh.
He's flexing the
So
thumb.
he
He's at
said
that age.
something. Yeah, he said something. I don't even, like I said, remember what it was. I think it was just more of a behavior or trait that I saw, and I was just like, I'm just done.
So, again, that we let you rant, we know it's his father's fault. We know it's his fault. When
and then
does
it's
it become
Frenchie's fault.
your fault?
No,
Wait a
then
minute.
it was Frenchie's fault because
No,
he didn't
let's-
respond appropriately.
Can I press the pause button and hit rewind for a minute? Because the question was, what did he say? And we have been everywhere but.
I don't
to
even
right there.
remember.
Okay.
Yeah, no clue.
And that's the thing. It wasn't important.
Yeah, it was nothing.
Everyone
it
in this
literally
room-
was nobody's anything.
Yeah.
It was just me.
Everybody in this room has been mad at their better half. Don't make faces because you're on the hot seat next. So go back to, again, you're running.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I was like, fuck it, I'm out.
No. I'm not talking about when you left. I'm saying you've blamed the dad and you've blamed your son.
Yes.
What part do you play in this?
Oh, I mean, the whole situation Saturday was my fault.
What about it?
Oh, I mean,
What
just
what
not
was your fault?
acknowledging that I had a problem, not paying attention, I think just I'm good, right? So like,
Yeah, you're
not an
good.
issue.
Everyone else is wrong and a piece of shit.
yes.
So what did you, going to that, let's isolate that part right there. What about you is the problem? What in that?
Oh, well, I mean, I think a lot of it goes back to my upbringing too, just not being able, as I shouldn't say we weren't allowed to share feelings because nobody ever said like, oh, we don't do this or we're not allowed to. And I was never reprimanded for it, but it just wasn't common practice.
So showing your feelings was not.
Yeah, I mean, it just wasn't common practice at home.
Yeah,
like,
it wasn't that they told you couldn't.
right.
or-
I never saw it. Like my mom was like, she was made of stone. Like she had no feeling. I never saw her cry, never saw her anything. She was just
Right.
very stoic her whole life.
Yeah,
And
That
held
sound
it
familiar,
together.
Tanya?
exactly. Yeah, like
Go
we
ahead.
didn't. Well, I don't remember I don't remember where you going. Where are you going with it?
We had this discussion we were talking about prepping for the podcast and your upbringing, not being able to express your emotions.
Yeah, because we were stupid if we cried.
Right.
You know, because I don't know. We were just you didn't have emotions. It was either anger or happy.
Yeah.
Those were the two
That's
that you
literally
could
the only
have,
ones.
because
I-
otherwise you were called names or treated badly, or and you're like, oh crap.
And I don't know if at my house it's just because my dad was a cop too, and that was just how, or if it was the Mexican behaviors. I don't really know what
I'm
it was, but
super
we were
white and we have no cops in the family, so
You grew up in South Tucson.
I did grow up in
But
South
I'm in the
Tucson.
same boat. I think it's just that may have just been the era.
the era maybe.
You know what I mean? That's just
Yeah.
that's how they grew up. And
Mm-hmm.
So when you were, what triggered you that day? Because it was before your son said something.
I
What about your day was shitty?
Well, it was
Nothing.
before that because she's digging
Yeah, it
into
was
her
in the
nails.
days
Right.
before
Yeah,
that.
this
So-
is
Yeah.
days.
Let's go back a couple of days, 3 days. What anniversary's coming up?
Oh yeah. Okay. So I should say this. May, June are terrible for me. May is the incident that the psych doctor had me talk about and the replays. So that's May 12th. But Mother's Day is always bad because that's the last day that I spent with my dad before he died. Then his birthday is May 21st. He was in the hospital. June 2nd, I got a call saying he's going to die, whatever, come say goodbye or just be prepared. And then he died on June 7th. He was buried on June 12th. So, like, there's just all of that happening.
Father's Day's in there, right?
Yeah,
Day,
Father's
like
Day.
that's a whole.
Yeah. So all
That's a
of that
lot.
happens within that month and a half. And so I'm sure that played major role in it. And just me, like, I'm good. I don't need anything. I don't need to deal with this. Like, it's fine. It's just what it is. So I'm pretty sure that's what it was. All of that.
So how are you going to fix it?
I mean, I don't know.
She's not going to fix it.
what steps are you taking?
Okay, so what ended up happening, like I said, I got halfway. I passed Sunset Point, and on on the way up there, Frenchie is texting me and he's like, "What are you doing? Where are you going? You don't even have any place to go." And I was like, "I don't know. I'm just going." And then at some point he stopped. He just was like, "I don't know what else to say to her, so I'm just going to stop." And so he stopped. So I'm just driving. But what happened was, the higher I got in elevation, my ears started popping really badly, and it kind of did something in my head where it made me like think, like, what are you doing? Like, are you really going to go to Flagstaff and get a hotel? Like, what is your plan? And I was like, I don't know. Maybe I'll just pull off the side of the road.
She's having a whole conversation.
I totally
what are you going to
was.
do? I don't know what I'm going to do.
I was, and I was like, I'll just pull off on a dirt road and hang out here for tonight. And then I was like, oh, there's a lot of cars out there. Nah, maybe I won't do that. So
Serial killers.
Yeah.
I would love to have
I
been in
was
the
like-
car watching her have this conversation with herself, looking at the passenger
Oh
seat.
my God, yes. It was crazy. So I drove back to turn around, went to Sunset Point, pulled off at the rest stop there, and I just sat there. And by that point, I was already coming down finally. So I was like, okay, you're an idiot. What are you doing? Why are we doing this? Like, Austin did nothing to you. Frenchie's probably has no clue what the fuck is happening. And you're in the middle of fucking nowhere. Now you got to drive all the way back home. Like, what are you going to do? And I sat there a few minutes, and then I was like, fine, I'll just drive home. And I drove home. So the next day I tried to eat crow and apologize. And it didn't initially go over so well. But at that point, I had realized, like, it's just me. Like, I need to fucking work on me. I need to get real with me, and I need to start actually acknowledging when something's not right and deal with it and not fucking keep pushing it down, because I haven't had an episode like that in, I mean, maybe 6-9 months. Like, it's been a while for
6
me.
to 9 months, really.
That bad? Oh yeah. Like, normally it gets to
How far out is your incident?
7 years.
So still 6 months will go by, and then you'll have another one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
How come we've had podcasts? Well, I guess we haven't had podcasts in 6 to 9 months, but since then we've had podcasts, and she hasn't been talking about her having these big.
because I don't really.
Because it's not her.
Veronica.
It's
Yeah.
not her
Focus
fault.
is
I
on
honestly,
someone else.
yeah, and I really just don't ever. I don't know. I always feel like I'm fine, and I'll.
How did
just handle
you
it.
try to eat crow?
Well,
Was
I tried
it
to call
look at
him.
me, I'm pretty, and
No, I tried
Everything's
to call
great.
him.
did you say sorry?
Yes, I totally apologized, and I told him. I said, "Look,
Who?
I should have
Told who?
a Frenchie."
What about your son?
My son, I don't even think he knew there was a fucking problem. I think the problem literally was just me in my head. I don't even know that we had actual conflict between us.
I'm sure you did.
Well, he was perfectly fine, never asked about anything.
Because
like,
he's not going to ask.
I don't know. Like, he just seemed normal. Like, normally
Because-
he's like, "Mom, what's wrong?" Like, he will call me out. He's really good about calling me out on things. But I don't even, when I looked back, I don't even know. I think I just played it through like I normally would. Like, everything was fine until I got him to my mom's, and that's when I kind of lost it.
But they
lost
know.
It.
They know.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he knew something.
He
was
knew
wrong.
something was wrong.
Yeah.
And if he's not going to check you, just like my family, my boys will not. If I get to that level, they
And
will
maybe
not.
that's what it is.
They won't
yeah.
even address me, and that's the problem.
But my son doesn't remember me at my worst.
I'm sure he
'Cause
does. How old was he?
7.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He remembers.
Well,
Yeah. Absolutely.
Could have been 2 weeks ago, though.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
you
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know.
Probably just thinks that's normal for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Because
guarantee.
he's very well, he knows when I have headaches and like I need to rest. Like, that's very, very normal to him. Like, that happens often enough that he knows, like, okay, mom's having another headache. And he'll say, "Why aren't you going to the doctor? Like, what, you need to do something about this." And I'd be like, "Nah, I'm good."
So I can almost guarantee you, he remembers. He has residual from those days. Because my youngest does. I mean, I was like you at one point. Instead of running, I just dove headfirst into a bottle. And then I buried myself at the bottom of a bottle and kept looking for answers, and then kept destroying shit along the way. And to this day, what I did to them all of them, but my youngest, that's the standard that I set. And then he has to learn how to deal with that. And so don't fool yourself and believe like he doesn't remember.
No, but I think I definitely think he knows something, but I think I just, all those times, like, kind of like I tried to do I always do. I guess I just internalized it. So I just try to fake that everything is okay, even if I'm falling apart. Like I'll just
While you're blowing up in your
Yes.
brain, you're like,
yeah, and I'm still trying to just fake it and
Rubbing
like
your
just avoid,
thumbs.
Yeah.
and just avoiding
Yeah.
them in that moment or whatever until it's gone. Or
But you do realize they see it,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
you're not fooling anybody.
No.
hey, Veronica, can you see this?
Yeah.
And that's what I do. I sit there and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm rocking like Raymond.
I'm
Totally.
fine. It's everyone else. I'm fine.
No one can see you. I'm
Yeah.
about to explode.
that's literally what I
So
do.
do you have an idea of where to go from here?
Well, so a few weeks back, I actually started seeing a counselor again. And I first went in there and I was like, I really don't know what I'm trying to get out of this. Like, I'm not sure why I'm here. I just know something. I'm just not right now. And so then I went back and I was like, I thought about it and I was like, I think I put a lot in a bag and I need to unpack it basically. And so I did start seeing a counselor again. But it's just getting back to some of the basics, the fucking breathing techniques, all the little things we
That's why we
learned.
smoke cigars.
Yeah.
So what are you doing EMDR?
Oh no.
Oh God, Jesus.
I'm
She-
afraid of that.
Well, wait,
Oh
how many-
my
definitely
God.
afraid
How many
of that.
times? Well, wait. How many times have you been?
Only 2 times.
2 times. So let her get. Well, even if the doctor was going to throw that out there.
Did you see her response?
It-
She has absolutely no desire to get
fucked me
better.
up to
The thing
begin
was,
with.
Oh God, no.
Yes. So
Yeah.
you somebody. So was this like a slap in the face of reality?
Yes.
Like
Because see, here's the thing for me is I've done this alone from the very beginning. I had my kids, but by myself, I had to deal with, process, understand, go to the doctors, figure it out, like everything by myself. So I've never had anybody call me out on behaviors or anything, like no support, but also nobody there to put me in check. And
Right.
so now I'm in a relationship with someone who's a very keen into my feelings and how I am and my behaviors. And so I think because of my relationship with him, I allow him to see this. Like when I go crazy, he's always there, or somehow I bring him into it. Like I tell him, I just start, I start texting, calling, talking. If we're together, like he just sees it. And so then after I'm done, then I have to go back and like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to behave that way. I didn't mean what I said, or, like I don't know why or what or whatever. So I've just never had that part of this is really new to me. So when I got to Sunset Cliffs and I was like, oh God, I'm going to have that talk with him again. And I'm going to have to explain to him something that I really don't understand, because it still just fucking comes out of nowhere, it feels like to me sometimes. And so I was like, all right, so I have to. So, I think that's the biggest thing pushing me to actually do something about it, is just that now it's like I can't hide it. I can't run away by myself and then come back and nobody even noticed I was gone, right? Like I could just, it was another day for me, and put it away and be done.
But none of that is real. None of what you said is real. You never ran away. Like what you just said was never what you thought it was.
What do you mean?
Like you said, I did this by myself, no support. I work. That's not true.
Well,
You and even right now, you were saying all these things. It's us making it that way. You have support. You have these things.
oh
and
yeah, but I
you-
just mean at home. Like I didn't have a partner who, like you have your wife to go home to, you've got yours, you've got, like they were all, whether they liked it or didn't like it, they were there. So it was someone else that you had to face them during it at some point. And I've never had to face anybody. Like it's just, if I fucked up, okay, it's just on me now,
Okay, but how long after that did you actually call him?
The following day, Monday.
The following day, because you have all this support.
Yeah.
Yet,
No,
yet
even
none
that
of us
night.
got a phone call saying,
Listen.
"Motherfuckers, I'm out. I'm losing my shit."
I was
What-
Totally. I
she's
thought
known.
about it. And
She's
I
known.
actually did think about it, because I was like, okay, I know what's the name of him? Like, I thought of people that are up north, and I'm like, maybe he knows someone in Flagstaff that could hook me up with a place to stay. Like, I did think about.
Do you see where her
people.
thought is?
But that's what-
it's not getting help. It's staying away.
Right.
But she's like, I need a place to stay. I don't need help.
Right.
She straight up said that there has been no one to call her out on her shit.
We've been calling
We've
her
been
out
calling her out for years.
It's true.
Thank you. I just want to make sure we
Oh,
didn't gloss
we all
over
heard
that
it. We were
because-
just
That's
coming
what.
back
That's
to
why.
that.
That's why I'm telling you.
I know, but I just
You-
mean like, I don't know.
And,
Like,
and
I don't know.
that's the good part about, and what I think you guys miss out on with no groups, because we don't. They're just not popular in 2022. But when we were running groups, everyone got called out.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when I first reached out to you, because you came to Pistol and then you stopped coming
Mm-hmm.
because you were getting called out and it wasn't comfortable.
Maybe.
And so when we sat down, I'm like, why don't you come back? Then you came back and you came to group and you offered great advice, but then you didn't take the same advice you gave.
Probably.
No, she focused on everyone,
Everyone
else,
else.
and
Yeah.
never.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have this problem with someone else who's sitting in this room,
Is it my twin
who is on the hot seat now. And I'm not going to go too far away from you, Veronica, but Rob, I know that sounds familiar. That has to sound familiar.
Well, I think it has to do with a lot with us, right? We try to make ourselves feel better by helping other people feel better.
Yes. You have done that so many times.
Oh, I still do it, yeah.
Yeah.
Relentlessly.
This should be, in my opinion, you looking at Veronica, that's your future you.
Oh,
Because
be careful.
well, and
Make sure
I'm
I
not
wear a
saying
dress
this
when I'm
because
sitting
I
over
don't
there.
think I've done it.
This I was gonna say this is something that we've all done.
We've all done it.
and we
Right.
can continue to do, continue to struggle
Right.
until you're like, holy crap,
But
when
part of the reason that Dave and I, when we would tell people, we are what you don't want to be, right? That's why when I put up that statement to know the road ahead, ask those coming back. We're coming back, right? And I would pitch that to Veronica. I'm like, stop running. And partially is my fault because we would enable her and blow her off and be like, she doesn't want to talk. Don't make her talk. But this is the end result of holding it in and holding it in and holding it in.
Right.
Just like when we've called you, right? And you're like, I'm going to be there. And then something happens that becomes more pressing when it's really not that pressing, right?
it shouldn't be that pressing.
It's-
You should be
It's
the
not
important
that
one.
pressing,
Right.
right? You have put yourself in situations, right, where you and I have had conversations, and I'm like, why are you going to that funeral? I got to go.
He didn't want me to go to Chris's.
I
gotta-
know what.
I
That's
got to
what we
go.
do.
I got to go. I got to
Okay.
go.
I went with
And-
them.
and-
Me and Manny had that conversation. I was like, okay, I feel like it's somewhere I should go. I feel like I should go that, but I know that's gonna fuck me up so bad.
And I just looked at it like it's just the consequence we pay. Like that's what we have to do. I don't know. Like I just
No,
Unfortunately-
because
I know
here's
specifically he's talking about Farrar's funeral.
I'm talking about more than Farrar's funeral. I'm talking about the fact that, and being honest, because I've done it. We've all done it in this room. And we're trying to explain to you and the listeners and people that watch is that we're telling you not to do it because it fucks up your life,
Oh yeah.
right?
Not because
we don't want you to go there.
not because you don't want to go so
Right.
bad like you feel you need to, but it's not
Yeah.
good for you.
You-
It's going to be bad.
Even the conversations that you and I have had, inevitably, what ends up happening when you do something somebody has told you not to do, how does that work out for you?
I'm fine. The rest of
Yeah, yeah.
That's
see?
bullshit.
it's
Mhm.
everyone else's problem, not
Exactly.
mine.
Now,
I got
now
you,
it's
D.
now
I
he's
got you right
Veronica's
there.
twin.
Oh, Jesus. Don't do what they do. It doesn't work out well. So be honest, what happens?
No, I usually get triggered and
And what else?
I spiral down.
And what, who
like
takes
the last time I mean I started drinking after Ben died because I got that notification pretty late at night and I'm like, time to drink, and I hit that pretty hard for about a month. So
But even before that, even before Ben passing, what happens when you go to these funerals and who takes the brunt of that?
definitely the family back at home, right? Because
Right.
they got to deal with the bullshit that I bring, right?
Yep.
Whether I'm shutting down or not participating or I'm lashing out.
Right.
I mean, one way or the other, it's a negative effect.
Right. And who in this room had provided out a shitty Mother's Day to somebody?
Besides you, probably me.
Not me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But
Shit.
do you see what I'm saying? Like, we have to be called out on our shit.
Yeah.
You know, I got called on my shit. When I was deep in the bottle, Dave was right there calling me out. Right? There were so many times that Dave gave me a spoonful of humble. Right? Like, knock your shit off. Right? You do this stupid shit, and then your family takes it, just like Veronica. She acts stupid, and now her son and her man, and then she's got to go eat crow and promise never to do it again, only to do it again. Right? And you and I have had this conversation over cigars all the time. And it's, for me, it's upsetting because I know what you want to do. You want to help people. But part of the reason that even like when Dave took a step back from Pistol, he got so consumed with people and making sure they were okay and checking. It started to affect him, not just mentally, but physically. It's not almost him. It is impossible for one person to give that much energy with not receiving some kind of something back, right? And I've seen it firsthand with you and Veronica. Don't do it, okay? I've been to funerals. I paid my respect and I walked out. I'm not there to mingle with cops, stand outside, catch up on the latest drama, because I have to get home. And the longer I stay, the worse it is for my family.
Do you still hang out with officers and stuff or are involved at the PD?
No, what I found is after my retirement, there's maybe 3 or 4 people that check up on me from time to time.
But what do you do?
But I'll check up on them. I mean, I know guys that have gone through some things and they're probably dealing with stuff, but I'll check up on them because the last thing I want to do is have them be a statistic, right?
Right.
I mean, that's a burden that I choose to carry.
Right.
I don't know why. I just choose
Because
to. Is it running?
because
I
you
don't know
know
if it's running.
Well,
No, it's
I think
deflecting.
you do it-
Can you see that from our perspective?
It's deflecting.
You are that motherfucker.
Right.
Like,
What
where-
all it is, so you remember the old, I'm sure they said it in the department you worked for, and well, Gilbert didn't help anybody, but all the other departments, when they told you to respond to an emergency traffic or officer down or whatever, you did nobody any good if you got fucking sideswiped along the way. Now you just took more resources away, right?
Right.
And that's something that Tanya and I, being further along than you, and Dave and I being further along from you, that's the kind of stuff that we're trying to convey to you guys, right? When I ask Veronica, are you going to do MDR? Oh, fuck no. Yes, you are. Okay, I had to do it. It's shitty, but part of the reason that I'm better is because I did it. Okay, I didn't like the academy. I hated fucking running. Okay, when we'd go to the range, I hated fucking picking up brass, but I did it, right? So we have to instill that, set the example, right? Showing up to funerals, I get, but no one's showing up at your house when we're shit-faced drunk fucking up people's lives, unless you call us, right?
It's true.
But, and that's why I was pleasantly surprised and very happy. I know it sounds demented, but I was happy because I've watched Veronica for years and we've told her, stop. And you need to literally, you have to sit down and go through it, right? I don't think that having been around you as long as I have, I don't think that it's just the critical incident, right? And those things and those demons in that closet have to come out, whether you want them to or not, because they're going to come out whether you want them to or not. And when they do, it's the loved ones that are affected. And then you're sitting in an island by yourself, blaming everyone else, right?
Yes. But I think for me, I my struggle is like at this point, I don't even know what I'm freaking out over. Like I don't, I mean, obviously like this past month and stuff, I'm sure had a lot to do with my dad's death and the incident date, which I came and went and I didn't even think about. But I like Sunday, I was like, I don't even know what's wrong. Like, why am I feeling this way? What is it that's making this happen? Like, there was nothing specific I could think of other than not dealing with my dad's death like I probably should have.
Okay, but why do you have to know what?
Because how do I fix? Because for me, how do I fix something I don't even understand what it is?
You go into a doctor and say, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but
I think if I understand what you're saying, is that you just want to be able to identify what's triggering you so that you can address that portion.
Right.
Yeah, but think
So
about
spot checking.
think about our personalities, right? As a cop, you want as much information as possible before you get to that call. Does he have a gun? Are the kids there? Who's there? Fire on the way. What's going on? Like, you want as much information. Okay. And for a long time, we still do it. I do it all the time with you guys. Every one of you, I do it to. I don't have to tell you I'm fucked up. What do?
Send some memes.
Send some memes or call Tanya for a cigar.
Coffee, something.
You do not need an explanation. Okay? Stop looking for one. You go and you get with a therapist and you tell them exactly what is wrong or what the symptoms are. Because it's like you go to the doctor and you say, I have this pain in my ankle, and it's their job to figure out what it is. You just give them the symptoms, right? But if you go in there and lie, which we've all done, right? Because I did it when I saw my doctor. When I first saw my doctor, she's like, you got extreme PTSD. I'm like, first of all, I've never been to war. Second of all, I'm good.
Right.
They're fucked up and they're pissed off. They don't get me, right? But it didn't work for me. And I've never seen it work for anybody.
what didn't work for you?
Lying.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. Like, going in and asking.
If you're going to go in and lie, why go in?
Why go?
Right.
Hello.
Well, that's the point that I'm making for Rob and Veronica. I watch them repeatedly make these mistakes and repeatedly make these mistakes over and over and over again. I made them. Mm-hmm. And I would have given anything for somebody to stop that. Right? And it took creating Pistol with Dave and Nick to put the brakes on that. Right? That's why we developed it, was because when you said there was no support, it wasn't that I didn't have support from my family. They were supportive. They just didn't know what they were supporting. Right? They never left my side. They would ask what I needed, but I didn't know what I needed. What I needed was Pistol or some kind of group that I could talk to cops and say, look, this is what I'm doing, and them be ahead of me and help me, tell me there's potholes down the road. Mm-hmm. So when we tell people, don't do that, it's not because we think we know it all. It's because we did it and it didn't fucking work. Okay? So that's why it gets frustrating, right? I give Rob shit all the time because this guy, it doesn't matter. Hey, what are you doing this week? And then he'll tell me, and then I'll be like, let's go get this. Except for just recently, before you cut me off, he'll be like, oh, I can't make it. Why? The kids are sick. Okay, I get it. Kids are sick. Not a big deal. But then I talked to his wife. She's like, I told that motherfucker to go, and I was fine. Right?
What?
But he's got to be there. He's got to be there. Right? And
He's the typical guy we used to talk about. I got to be there to help out. Well, you're making it worse when you're there and not doing what you should be doing for yourself.
I feel like we did have this talk with Rob before.
Veronica. Hello. That's what
I'm pretty sure we did say this like 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
But that's good to know, because then that means I can get out for cigars more often.
There you go.
I mean, I've only had 4 or 5 this
First
last
of all,
week. 4 or 5.
I've got permission from your wife, and yes, you can have cigars. And you've got one cool ass fucking car, so I don't want the excuse of it's too far.
You know how
I don't
much
wanna
gas
go.
costs on that thing?
Hey, you voted for the dude, not me. That's all I gotta say.
I mean, I can neither confirm nor deny that.
So, but ultimately, what I'm saying is that I know it sounds if you're listening to the podcast or watching it, it sounds like we, Tanya and I, or people at Pistol feel like we're better than you, but we're not.
No.
Right.
We want you to understand that we tried it, right? It's like the old entry technique, the fatal funnel. The reason they tell you not to stand in front of the fatal funnel is because motherfuckers got shot, right? And you take that and you go, I don't want to get shot, so therefore I'm not standing in that fatal funnel. And it becomes training over and over again. For you guys, especially the ones that haven't addressed it, right, for years, you're standing in that fatal funnel and you're taking rounds. And the people that are affected by that are your family. And all you have to do is put in the effort. It sucks.
It sucks.
It sucks.
And Manny's not saying by saying any of this that we're fucking perfect now. We're fucking amazing, like, because we did it. We still fuck up. I just got called a dick in the grocery store by my girl before I came here today. Yeah,
That's
she's
so
like,
funny.
"You're being a real dick," and I was like, "Uh-oh, someone's in trouble."
You should have said, with this haircut, that's not possible.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I still fuck up, but frequency, intensity, and duration, I hardly get in trouble. But when I get in trouble, I call this motherfucker and say, "This is what she said," and he's like, "Yeah, that was you. You did that," and I was like, "Oh, damn
Yeah.
it."
And that happened to me. When I first re-careered over, I got triggered by a lawyer and I wanted to kill him. And I called my wife and I said, let me tell you what this fucking lawyer said. Because it was a work comp issue. And I said, I think I need to kill the motherfucker. And my wife said, that's not a good idea. Like, let's not kill anybody today. And I was like, well, you know what? You don't understand what I'm going through. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call Dave. But before I called Dave, I called my old partner, Nate, who also struggles with PTSD. And I said, listen, let me tell you what this fucking lawyer, what do you think? We need to kill him, don't we? And he's like, no, move on, get over it. So now I'm 0 for 2, but I keep shopping. And I call Dave. Dave, I'm going to murder this motherfucker today. And he's like, why? What happened? And I tell him, and he goes, he's a fucking lawyer. What'd you expect? And I'm like, God damn it. 0 for 3. If 3 people are disagreeing with you, you're wrong. You see what I'm saying? If, Rob, you ask your wife, can I do this? And she's like, that's not a good idea. You're like, fuck it, I'll call Manny and ask him. And I tell you, that's not a good idea. And you're like, you know what? Fuck these 2 dummies. I'm going to call Veronica. Well, don't call Veronica. Because he's going to tell you.
I'm gonna say go.
Veronica will say, "I'll go with you."
Yeah, don't call Veronica.
She sat next to me at
Yeah.
my first funeral that I wasn't supposed
Yeah.
to go to.
I know. I totally.
But if you
went with
call
him.
Tanya and you're 0 for 3, stop fucking looking. Okay? It's not...
And I'll go again.
It gets...
Just so you know.
Appreciate that.
It gets you nowhere. It
And
puts
you know what?
behind.
That night that I took off, I was texting some of my the girlfriends I had been out with, and they were all like, "No, don't do that. Come here instead." And I was like, "Nope, I'm good. I'm just gonna leave. I'm done." And they were like, "We don't want you to go anywhere. Just come here. Come like." You have your home to yourself. Just go back to your home by yourself. Like, why do all that? And I was like, no, I just was.
Don't
I couldn't
ask.
see
Don't
anything.
ask.
I literally
Don't-
couldn't see anything.
Don't ask normal people what to do when you're fucked up.
Yeah.
Rob tried it, right? What when you called me, you're like, hey, I'm gonna go have some whiskey with my buddy, and I'm like, that's probably a bad idea, Rob. And what did you do?
I just did a bourbon tasting.
And then what? How did that work out? Tell that story.
There were a lot of good bourbons.
And what
I
happened?
want to know why I didn't get an invite to that.
Oh, wait, listen to this invite. What
So-
happened?
So, guy I worked with, great guy.
Not fucked up.
Not well, in his own right, but clearly not diagnosed. But he's like, "Hey, you want to come over for bourbon tasting?" I'm like, "Sure, I can do that." Got the green light from the wife. Got there, and I should have realized that when my pours were like 2 or 3 times the size that he was pouring, that it was probably not going to end well. But took it. My wife dropped me off. Took an Uber ride home, or Lyft. Stumbled out of the car. Went inside the house. Driver came back because I had left my phone in the car. Gave it to my wife. By that time, I was already on the ground in the bathroom, not wearing any clothing. And that was the night before Mother's Day a couple of years ago.
And and see, this is what I'm talking about. Like when I talked to Rob right before that, he had mentioned it, and I said it's probably not a good idea because if you listen to that story, who knew when to stop?
The other guy.
The other
was not
guy.
pouring.
And he kept pouring fucking Rob. Bro, that's fucked up. Right? Like, not worth it. It's not worth it. Right? And that's why you have fucked up friends. You have normal friends. When I want the best advice, I call my fucked up friends because my normal friends don't understand my world, right? Because they're going to tell me to do everything that I shouldn't do, right? Because if I say, hey, my wife just pissed me off, let's go get some fucking beers and some cigars, I'm like, yeah. But they're going to know when to stop. I'm not. And they give me that forbearance because they know I struggle. So what do? Keep drinking, bro. We got you, right? And that's not a bad thing. I understand that they're trying to help. But what you really need is you need somebody there that's been there that says, we're going to have 2 and call it. We're going to have 1 and call it. We're not going to have any and call it. So that you don't get it, apologizing year after year after year. I still, to this day, have to apologize to my wife once or twice every year for shit I did 5 years ago. I'll never get out from behind that rock. And maybe in her mind, she's forgiven me, but I have not forgiven myself for that shit. And that's what I'm trying to get you guys to understand. Not just you and Veronica, Rob, but people that are listening. Don't go down the road I went down. There's nothing down here. I checked multiple times. There's nothing down here. Okay. And I thought it was awesome that Veronica reached out because she's always saying, reach out, reach out, reach out, reach out.
I say it all the time.
Behind the scenes, I'm thinking to myself, she's yet to reach out. Right? Lead by example. Right. But when it gets this bad for Veronica, right, now your relationship's on the line. Now you're struggling with your kid because your kid's getting older. As he gets older, shit starts happening, right? He's an alpha male. He wants to take care of mom. Or, unfortunately, in my situation, they just don't like you. And they don't know how to connect with you. And that's the hardest part about this PTSD world. We blew up so many fucking bridges that we're going to spend a lifetime trying to repair them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I don't want you to go through what I went through with my boys. My youngest boy will walk past me to ask my wife a question that he can ask me. I still deal with that every day. And I'm trying to prevent it from happening to you two. Not just you two, but everybody. Especially like Rob, I tell him, your kids are young, bro. Don't make those same mistakes, right? You've got a support system there. If you call us and ask us, we're probably going to tell you not to do it. Everyone else is.
So I can actually speak to that a little bit because I have 4 that are much older than the younger ones. And we've had some rocky moments with my older kids.
Not just rocky, bro.
Yeah. No, I get you. But those are the ones that saw me go through things in my career, right? From getting hired on and then the shitstorm that a 20-year career is. It was rough on them. It was rough on me. And you're right. It's not easy repairing those bridges. I'm in the process of it now.
Yeah.
Still,
and then what do? You make stupid fucking decisions, right? We get calls. You try things. You try different things, and you think it's going to work, and it's not. But you don't listen to the people that are grounded, right? It doesn't have to be us. Your wife is grounded. Your son is grounded. Your daughters are grounded. Frenchie's grounded to an extent.
Yes.
I'm not going to say 100%. But I tell Rob this all the time. What are you doing? Right? If your wife says don't do it, don't do it. We just had this conversation having cigars, right? And I bust Rob's balls because he calls me up one day and he's like, I'm going to flip motorcycles and get a motorcycle. I'm like, it's a bad idea. My brother had a motorcycle.
You did get one though, didn't you?
Yeah, because he doesn't listen.
I remember.
And so my brother has a motorcycle, and I'm like,
you listen.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
I'm like, don't get a
These two
motorcycle.
can't sit
Don't
next
leave
to
him
each
alone.
other
There's gonna be a
anymore.
fire
No.
somewhere.
No.
I'm like, my brother
We
had a
bring the
motorcycle.
party. I don't know what the problem is.
Exactly.
Well, my brother had a motorcycle. He gets in an accident. It wasn't his fault. Loses his fucking leg, almost dies. What does that dumb motherfucker do? He doesn't have PTSD. He didn't have it. He might now because he had a fucking car and lost his leg. But he gets out, gets into rehab, gets a bionic leg, and then looks at me and says,
Get a bike.
I'm getting another bike. What the fuck? Right? And stop. Stop doing it. That's why it's important that when you tell these people, right, they have to believe what you're telling them, because they have to know that you did exactly what you're asking them to do. Right? How many times did we work for a supervisor that was like, go do this, but they never did it?
Oh, yeah.
And it was fucking irritating.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I've seen it time and time again. I know it's still going on. Go do this, but you never did it, but you want me to fucking do it. Right? I had more respect for people that did it and then would do it with me. Right? And that's why it's important. And I know Tanya and I were talking about this over cigars on Friday because we were prepping for the podcast because we wanted you on the hot seat.
Thanks. It is hot over here.
Yeah. So what is your plan going forward?
I mean, whatever the counselor says I got to do. Like, I don't know. I feel like whatever happened last week, obviously opened my eyes to, like, I'm really not as good as I think I am. For the most part, I think I'm fairly well. But
Stop.
My
Stop.
God. Is this shit on? What is...
no, but I mean, it doesn't happen often. So that's why I'm like, I don't feel
Does
the
it need
shit
to happen often? I mean, realistically, does it need to happen?
No.
One time should be enough.
Yes.
Okay. And you're still excusing it away.
And I think the last time that it happened, Frenchie and I kind of talked about it on the podcast with Lauren, or I brought it up during that one. I don't even think then that I realized it was happening when it was happening, or even after, that it was a result of this mess. I think I just thought, just a bad night. I don't know. Like, I didn't even relate it entirely to whatever is going on in my head.
So
Like,
let me ask you a question, Veronica. Tanya and I talked about this, and I haven't had the opportunity to talk to you about it because, well, I figured you're going to tell me the truth anyways, or you're going to lie, one or the other. Your critical incident with the baby.
Mhm.
Have you sat down across from a therapist or doctor and actually worked that through?
well,
Ever?
Yeah, I did years ago, because I was in counseling for like, 2
How-
times a week.
how did
for
you
3
address it?
weeks.
Two
you mean-
times a week for 3 whole weeks?
She
3
meant
years.
Oh, she
3
just
years.
said 3 weeks, and
No,
I was
no,
like,
no.
oh.
I was in counseling for
I caught
at least
that.
3
Okay.
years. Yeah. I mean, and we did do EMDR things, and we did the buzzies, and we did the pictures, and we did a whole bunch. I did a whole bunch of stuff with her.
The
Well,
buzzes.
clearly it's
The
not
buzzies,
working.
do you know? I feel like it did for a while, and I don't know, or it just didn't, and I really just ignored it for so long, or didn't pay attention to any of it. And that's what when I called you, that's kind of what I said, is I think I just was able to ignore it for so long because I didn't have Frenchie there telling me, no, this is dumb, don't do that, or someone that I was going to have to apologize to the next day.
It's not about the apology, though. Regardless if he's there or not, you still have to be better.
You
right,
still,
but
it's
I-
still the behavior.
It's still the behavior, yeah.
Right, but I feel, but before all of that, like I could like brush away what happened. I didn't have to deal with it because it was just
You're
me.
forced
Like,
to now.
yeah, and now I have to deal. Like,
But it's
if I
not
want
just
this,
you. You have a son.
right? But
You
I
have
didn't
daughters.
see
You have
him.
grandkids.
Yeah, but they're all gone. Like, none of them live with me. They're
it
not
doesn't
around.
matter. I mean, that shit can happen anytime.
Right, but I don't know. Like, they haven't. In the very beginning, my girls were home, and 2 of them were home, so they saw the very beginning, first year or so, and then they were all, nobody lived with us. It was just me and my son, and he was so little, and I don't honestly know how, what of it he's taken. I know he knows the headaches are really bad all the time, and
What would happen if, in your opinion, what would happen if your son went into session by himself? What do you think he would say?
So truthfully, his dad, I said his dad's a piece of shit, right? He has,
hold on.
but he wouldn't say any. I don't think he would say anything about me because he's got, for real, no, because he's got so many issues with his dad that his dad is like the monster that hangs, the cloud that hangs over us.
Right.
So all of my shit is easy to brush under the rug because he's got so much with his dad.
But do you understand the problem with that?
Which part?
The problem is that if you have a shitty dad or a shitty parent, right? You can deal with that, right? But you're still mom, and he still has to address that. Okay, he has a shitty dad. Okay, we won't even disagree with you on that. We won't even disagree with you on that. But see, that's part of what we're trying to tell you is like, you're still saying shitty dad, shitty. We already know that. Okay. Your mom. And that is what needs to be fixed. Him sweeping or excusing away your problems is the problem. He needs to address that issue. You see what I'm saying?
I do, but honestly, like at home, I'm not the crazy that you hear me talk about right now. I think I have done such a good job of hiding it. Like
You're doing a shitty job.
No, but at home, I don't think I am. Like my kids think, like even my adult daughters think, like I must just be fine now. Like they don't have a clue that I still go through anything. Like nobody. I think I
Have you asked them?
Well, they talk like everything is
It
good.
doesn't matter. Have you asked
They
them?
talk about my problems from before. They don't talk about it like it's still a problem now. They remember before. And to me, I think I'm so much different than I was at the very beginning that to them, I'm okay now because it's not like it was before. So I think in their minds, what happened then is done with now, and they don't see anything different because I don't see them for periods of time. Right. But my son, like I don't know, he's such a mama's boy, and I've just always been so good at playing down. Like I always say, my last relationship was total staged. People never knew the issues that were there or whatever. Like everyone thought life was great, but it was a staged life. Like I could fake it as great as it had to be just for that picture, for that moment.
But that's
whatever.
what it is now. It's not any different. You're fucked up.
Right, but I mean,
you're.
But that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I think my son doesn't necessarily see it all because I'm really good at isolating myself.
Exactly.
And dealing with it by myself.
That's what I'm trying to say, though. You're staging something that you think is working. And it's not.
I know it doesn't work.
Right.
It just,
but
it just gets me through.
And that's what I'm saying. It's not, it's getting you think it's getting you through. Right? But it's not.
It's not. You're right. And that's literally like, that's kind of where I've been. Like, I feel like it's always just gotten me where I needed to be. But now that I have somebody who is like, no, this is not okay. Like, I can't hide it from him. He knows me, I think, better than I do most times. So he can pick up on things that are happening with me before I realize they're happening. And so before I've never had that. And so now I see it and it's like in my face. Anytime I'm not okay, he picks up on it and I'm like, okay, I got to pick up the act real quick to make everything okay or deal with it.
It's the same thing with Rob.
That from what I heard, what you said is you become better at hiding it. And I'll be honest with you, I was great at hiding it, I thought. Right? At work, I was fantastic at hiding it. At home, no. And what does hiding it get us, right?
I don't hide it. Like, I don't have to hide it.
Because you're a dick in a store.
And it well, let's call that a side note, shall we? No, but I don't have to hide it anymore. Like, we have the blow-ups, and then I think
that's where it is now, where I'm finally getting to with him is, like, I don't have to hide. And we've had he came over, we talked, and he's like, listen, I wasn't mad. I just didn't know what else to say because I didn't want to make it worse. And I didn't know what happened. I didn't know it was that. Like, I just didn't know what the fuck you were doing.
You do understand that just because you're not hiding it doesn't matter. You have to fix it,
Right.
right? So, and this is what I was alluding to with Rob. You know, there's been times where I've called Rob and I'm like, dude, don't do that. Like, your wife is not okay with this situation, and he'll still do it, right? Don't do that, okay? The only person, I'll say persons. The only persons you should be worried about is your immediate family, your son, your daughters, your grandkids. That's who you should be getting better for, not just yourself, right? And Frenchie, because I like Frenchie. Pretty hot.
I like them too. He is.
But if you're not going to put forth the effort and constantly try, because I'm listening to you and you're doing what I did then. You don't want to address you. You want everyone else to kind of come into your little cocoon, right? That's why I make fun of Rob when I play Morrissey, right? Because he'll call me, he's like, she doesn't understand me. I'm like, it's not her obligation to understand you, okay? You're fucked up. You have to fix yourself, and then everything else will fall in place,
Yes.
right? If you're not putting forth the effort to fix yourself, and it could be anything, right?
Right.
Rob and I had this conversation not too long ago. My wife will try anything to make me feel better so that I don't go to the bottle, right? And I have to try things, right? Rob might try rebuilding motorcycles. I might try new cigars. I do nails now, right?
I was wondering if you were going to dine yourself out because I was like, you do nails.
I was wondering what because he was talking about the cigar shop.
Yeah.
I was like, what? in the
But
world?
see, these are the things that, so that I don't have to go to the booze, right? And I don't have to get angry when I get triggered. You should be able to cope with what's around you. And in the situation that you and Rob are in is that you've been putting shit aside so much and you've been deflecting so much that it just becomes normal, right? And that's what you're doing now. You're like, well, I said I was sorry, and I've been going to therapy for 3 weeks, but no, I'm not doing EMDR, right? You have to put in the work. You have to know that 99% of the time you're wrong, not them.
Oh yeah, in
Right?
those circumstances, absolutely.
But-
all me.
But apology only goes so far, right? You have to give them breaks, and you have to put in the work and say, okay, I'm going to do this today, or I'm going to do. My wife will tell me, you're having a shitty day today. Call Tanya, right? And I listen, and we go have a cigar, and then I feel better, and I don't blow up when I get home, right? When life becomes to be too much, okay? And trying to get people to understand that, doing this for as long as I've been doing this with Pistol, oh, it's raining, I can't make it. Oh, it's sunny outside, I can't make it.
It's too far. I can't
It's
make
too
it.
far, I can't make it.
Yep.
But I can tell you that Rob is one of the guys that I make fun of the most, because I'll tell him, drive over, let's have a cigar. Too far. But he'll catch a plane to go to a funeral in another fucking state and get all fucked up sideways. Right? Right? And what happens when you go there? What happened to your knee?
I tore my MPFL.
Were you drinking?
Did you fall down?
Yes, but the two aren't related because
Says you.
No, says the doctors, because the MPFL is from dislocation of knees for an extended period of time. It just will go like that from time to time.
It's not his fault. He didn't do it. It's not his fault.
It's
I
not
didn't
his
say it was someone
fault.
else's fault. I'm just saying it happened.
You just have to. I think for me, what's harder for me is when I watch you guys and I'm close to you guys and you don't listen, right? Because as you know, as we started the show, you don't. There's no magic pill to make this better, right? You have to put in the work, okay? And frankly, I get angry when people are like, well, it's not me, it's them. because I've been there. I don't want you to put your family what I put my family through. There's no reason to, because I can tell you, don't do it, right? If your wife or your boyfriend or whatever tells you it's okay to go have a cigar, or it's okay to do this podcast, it's okay to go get help, listen to them. Don't listen to your friends who are not fucked up, right? Don't go and think whiskey tasting is a good idea, right? For guys and gals like us, that is a problem, right? Because they don't understand our world. They don't understand our demons. They don't know what one drink is. And I would tell people, and I've heard it before, and I use it to this day, 1 is not enough and 5 is too many, right? That is, you have to be able to be honest with yourself. You can lie to me all day long. I really don't care. I'm not going to take it personal, but don't lie to yourself. You be honest with yourself and say, like you did, right? Reach out. I need help. We need to talk about this. So before we wrap up.
Wait, I want to say one thing. At the beginning of this thing, you said groups are not popular in 2022.
Yeah.
If that's not saying we wouldn't have a group.
Oh, no, we'll definitely have a group.
If someone said tomorrow, hey, these people, I want to have a group, there will be a group.
Oh, yeah.
And there will always be a group. But motherfuckers better show up.
Well, but the problem is Rob and Veronica will show up and help everyone else and then ignore themselves.
No, they won't.
That's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah. Well, they're fine.
So I learned a valuable lesson from you this week, Manny. I don't know if you realize this or not.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably because you're fucked up. But when we were having our cigar, and initially that morning, what did you just sent me a text saying, "Hey, I can't make it."
Yeah.
So I called you. I'm like, "Can I come closer to you?" And what'd your wife say?
Go see Rob and have a cigar.
So
yeah,
listened. Yeah,
it makes a difference, right? And the part of what's going on for the backstory. So my dad ends up in the hospital. Shit's going sideways. He's not doing well. Then it just gets worse. And then I have to call Rob, and I cancel. We had a scheduled mandate for cigars. And he said, "Hey, I'll come to you." And again, I could have said, "Don't worry about it," because last time he came to us, and I figured I owe him one to go out to his direction. Mm-hmm. And he showed up, and I called my wife, and she's like, "No, you need a cigar. Go have a cigar." And my dad is slowly getting better, but the one thing that my wife keyed in on was that I'm not getting triggered as much, right? I had a cigar with Rob on Monday or Tuesday. Then I had one with you on Friday, right? These, I did it's funny I say this, but I had a client for nails. And I did the nails, very relaxing, very calming. I don't have to go to the bottle anymore. Like this, I think this whole week, there's been no booze. Like I'm completely out, no booze. And I've got my dad in the hospital. I got my brother in the hospital now. My brother-in-law's not doing well. And these were things that I would normally go straight to the bottle for. But instead, what I did was I had 2 cigars. I had one with Rob early in the week, and then I had one with you. Today is actually the first time that I actually poured myself a drink, and I didn't have whiskey. I was like, my wife's like, "Go get whiskey." I'm like, "Nah, it's not worth it." But I had some gin left over or whatever. But I didn't feel like I needed it. And that's what we're trying to explain to you. Like, put in the work and you'll get better. Reach out, you'll get better. Listen to the people who have nothing to gain. This isn't a popularity contest or how many fucking likes you can get on Instagram or TikTok. When the down and dirty comes down to it, and Rob and I have had this conversation, I'm not a big fan of that whole blue line, right? You pick up the phone, you ask for help, we'll find you help, right? I appreciate every single one of you because every single time I'm fucked up, for whatever reason, I get to send those memes or these things. And one of the things that Rob and I talked about funerals was we had talked about, something happened to me. because I had collapsed and everything. And I said, I do not expect you at my funeral, right? Neither does my family, right? What I do expect, if you know me, is post something with me flipping you off or whatever we talked about. Because then you know me, right? You know who I am. I ain't going to be here anymore. But you make sure that you understand me, right? I have buddies that I talk to. I won't talk to for a year, but pick up the phone. They always pick up the phone. Doesn't matter if I talk to them a year, 6 months, they pick that phone up. That's all that matters, right? I'm not going to indulge because I've already been there. I've been down that road. I don't want to see you guys go down that road. And in closing, Veronica, Tanya and I had talked while we were having a cigar. And you've been with Pistol for years. So the challenge,
Oh, shit.
right? The challenge is we have scholarships, right?
Oh, I know where this is going.
And we've scholarship people. Okay. So
What?
we were.
Veronica, what do you think Pistol does? Hey.
So we were unaware that you were seeing anyone. I have no idea what you're seeing. But what we would like to do is we would like to scholarship you to one of the clinicians who does EMDR and brain spotting. And we will cover that just like we do with our scholarships. But you have to do the work. You have to sit in that office. You have to do either EMDR, brain spotting, or both. Okay. But you have to address those issues. Okay? If you want to set an example for the officers that we go through, I see your face. You're not happy.
No, I'm fine.
I'm totally fine.
I'm totally okay.
No, I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea.
So what's going to happen is tomorrow's Monday. I will make a call to one of the clinicians, and I will set it up. We'll tell them it's just like normal, just like a normal donation. We cover the cost. But you have to go through the entire scholarship money. You can't quit.
Okay.
Okay? You can't say, oh, I don't like it, or it's too hard. Clearly, the clinician cannot tell us anything about you because of the patient-client privilege or whatever.
But we'll get it out of you anyway.
Yeah.
But we
eventually.
will do a follow-up podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and we want you to come back, and we want you to explain how it transpired, what happened.
Okay.
I think, personally, knowing you as well as I do, you need to address the call. You need to address the baby. Okay? I don't think it's so much just about those officers like you've told us. You need to address that kid. And as hard as it is, and as much as I've struggled with those things, those kitty crimes or child deaths, it's a motherfucker. But you need to really address that. Set the example so that when someone comes back and says, why am I going to listen to you? Say, because I fucking put in the work. Right? And for Rob, put in the work. Listen to your wife. Okay? She doesn't have anything to gain. Okay? Those calls that you and I have where I tell you, Rob, don't go. Don't go. Okay? Tanya called me on one of the funerals and she goes, I don't think I'm going to go. I said, don't go. Don't go.
I don't think I can go.
Right.
Was the thing. Like and had I gone, I would have been fucked.
Right. And it's okay. You can pay respects different ways. Okay? Stop putting yourself out there. Don't be a martyr right now. Fix yourself. Make sure that your wife is taken care of, your kids are taken care of. You put in the work, because when you put in the work and you become healthy, other people are going to respect that. And they're going to look at you and say, why should I listen to you? You're like, because I fucking ended up naked and I learned my lesson and I'm telling you not to do that. The same way that I did, right? No one is any better than anyone else in this room. or in this world. But if you want to know that road ahead, ask those coming back. And I appreciate it, Veronica, because you did reach out. And I was like standing outside looking at the phone like, what the fuck just happened?
He called me, guess who reached out?
I'm like, holy shit, Veronica
What?
reached out.
She's ready?
Right. And I will tell you, coming back, when you fix that, we're going to have you and Frenchie on.
Okay.
And I want to hear his side. Okay? We don't have to put him on camera, but I want to hear his side. And I want to know, just like you said, I want to know what he sees. Okay? And I think it'll be good for him and for you to listen to hear that. Because I know for me, when I was in session with my doctor, my wife would tell my doctor what I did, and I'm like, I didn't do that shit. You're a liar. You're making me look bad. Right?
Oh, yes, you did.
And we did it.
Yep.
Tanya's done it. She's shown up to group, and she's like, Gloria said I was yelling. I wasn't fucking yelling.
And Manny goes, you're yelling right now. And I was like, God damn it.
Yeah. And so before we leave, I want to end with Tanya's anger issues. What happened to your van?
What?
Oh.
What happened to your Chomo van?
Road rage.
What happened?
I was simply trying to pull into my own driveway. Simply trying to pull into my own driveway. And some motherfucker comes riding up my ass, honking at me because I'm trying to pull into the driveway. So I'm taking up the lanes. Hi. Has his girl in the back seat yelling at me, you fucking bitch. And I jumped out of my car and I told her, get out of the fucking car. I'm going to show you what a fucking bitch looks like. And of course, he speeds off. Woo! Well, I was so pissed. I ripped into my driveway and sideswiped my own wall. I was so fucking mad. Gloria comes out. What's all the yelling about? I said, I need you to get the fuck away from me. Everyone needs to leave me alone. Yeah. I got problems still.
Yeah.
Every once in a while.
So what lesson was learned out of that? They left. No damage to their car.
I was the only one.
You were the only one.
That fucked it up, got fucking angry, got shit broken.
Yeah. So if you see a white Chomo van driving around,
That's all.
hey, little boy,
On the side.
you want some aspirin? That's probably Tanya.
Ugh.
All right. So, Veronica, I appreciate it. You didn't have to be on the hot seat, but you took it. And we'll follow up with you. Hopefully, Frenchie will come on.
Mm-hmm.
Correct the issue. Address it. Do EMDR.
Yeah. Do something.
Do brain
Whatever.
spotting.
I mean, look, whatever is going to make this lesson, I suppose, because it's not going to go away forever. So whatever is going to make it better, I totally need to do.
98% of the time, it's your fault. That's all you got to
no,
say.
it's my fault all the time.
Okay.
She's at 100%.
It's better because he said 99% of the time it was your fault earlier.
No,
So
I'm
you're already
getting
doing
better.
better.
All
yeah.
right.
Hey, she came on the show and she said it. Rob, I appreciate you sitting here. You didn't have to.
That's what we do.
You took it like a
up.
stepbrother.
You took it
Good
up like a
job.
stepbrother.
Thanks, sis.
So
yeah, I mean, if I can't help him there, at least maybe hopefully this will help someone.
well, help
Or-
yourself.
Or myself.
No, help yourself. And pay attention to your wife. Okay?
Yes,
She
ma'am.
cares about you.
Yes,
I know.
ma'am.
All right.
I'm very fortunate.
Tanya, I appreciate it. You guys, as always,
Mm.
I finished it.
Oh, I have one.
Make
Oh.
sure you don't
I don't.
cheer with nothing to us and those like us. And we'll see you next time.